Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be doing my first mock draft before the draft. There's gonna be a lot more. This is just the 1.0 mock draft, so this is the first one. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm using PFF's NFL mock draft simulator, and I'm gonna do all teams, not just the Giants. So the first pick, I feel like Chicago could get trade offers from the Colts. So the Colts trying to jump their rivals from the AFC South in their division to get a guy like Bryce Young. But also, I feel like they could sit back and wait for like CJ Stroud unless they want Bryce Young 100%. But I feel like CJ Stroud fits their mold better than what they run there because they have a good running back, their line wasn't the best this year, but they got Quentin Nelson, they got Braden Smith, I think his name is. Left tackle they might need, but anyways, all right. So we're gonna start with the first pick. I think you on. I mean, the Bears have like zero pass rush, and there's a guy like Will Anderson, but I feel like the more talented guy is Jalen Carter. But also, it's shown mostly edge rushers go first. I'm gonna go with Will Anderson here. I think he has like 36 sacks in his entire career of Alabama, more than Von Miller had in his collegiate career. I think he's a very talented pass rusher, and he's probably the best. He is the best in the draft. As we get to the second pick, it's very possible the Texans could enter the Caleb Williams sweepstakes next year. With they have two first round picks from the other one from Cleveland. They're not very good. Maybe they'd be good this year, but who knows? Or they could go Bryce Young and get a guy in like right now because maybe you might not get Caleb Williams. It's pretty hard to get a guy like that. The first overall team might need a quarterback. Most likely is. Maybe even the Bears might go Bryce Young, but I think they go Bryce Young here. They could go Jalen Carter. D'Amico Ryans is a very good defensive minded coach, but I think they go and get their franchise quarterback first year. Ryans is tender as the head coach of the Texans. As we get to the Cardinals, they're a pretty bad team. They don't really have any guys for the defensive pass rush. Jalen Carter is just the best player available, and I think that's what the Cardinals are in position to do unless it's a quarterback. So Jalen Carter, the Cardinals, this one's pretty obvious. A lot of people think Will Levis is better than CJ Stroud. Me personally, I don't think that. I think CJ Stroud's a very good player. He's very accurate. Sometimes a little decisive in the pocket. He'll wait there and take a sack instead of maybe having to scramble. He's not slow. I mean, maybe he's not the most fast player, but he decides to sit in the pocket a little much. He drifts in the pocket, and but other than that, he's very accurate. And I think the Colts are a perfect fit for him. You got Jonathan Taylor, perfect run attack, so you don't really need his legs like how maybe Bryce Young's could be implemented into like the Texans offense. So we're gonna go CJ Stroud. As we get to the Seahawks, I think they need a pass rush. Tyree Wilson is a very, very good pass rusher. A lot of people thought Miles Murphy maybe would be a top 5 pick. I think Miles Murphy's fallen off a little bit. I don't know if he fell out of the top 10 completely, but I'm gonna go Tyree Wilson. He's a very good player at Texas Tech. I think it's a really good pick for the Seahawks if they did that in real life. But the draft could change to the combine. We've seen even this year, the first overall pick, it was a combine prospect because he was really athletic. They thought they could evolve Trayvon Walker into the player with his athleticism. They thought maybe they could mold him into somebody better. As we get to the Lions are a very good offense. The thing that was holding them back this year was their defense. Their defense would allow like 38 points when they have like 35, and they would lose the game. They probably would have had like 12 wins if they actually had a good defense. Devon Witherspoon's very good. I don't know what PFF's doing with these like rankings. These are like very weird. But I think Christian Gonzalez, breakout year in Oregon, very good cover corner. He's a knack for the ball. He has a couple of interceptions last year. Very good corner. He can play man. You put him on an island. Probably the best corner in the draft. As we get to the Raiders, and depending on what they do with this pick, maybe trade it for Aaron Rodgers. But I don't know what they can do like as of right now because the free agency didn't start. Yes, this is why it's a really early mock draft. But I think Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. I feel like Will Levis might be the move, just because. Even though he's probably not, I like Anthony Richardson better. That's me personally. But I think the move for them is to go Will Levis. A lot of people like Will Levis because of Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a similar player. He played in a worse school, Wyoming, and he's very similar built. He's 6'4". He's athletic. Problem I have with him, he kind of turns the ball over a lot. I feel like some people like they could some teams think they could maybe mold him into like kind of like Trayvon Walker into because of his athleticism to like maybe the next Josh Allen. So I think they go Will Levis there. He's got a pretty good arm. I mean, there's been clips of him practicing. He's like, zipping the ball, similar to Zach Wilson. So don't get fooled by NFL GMs. As we get to the Falcons, so there's Anthony Richardson, but I don't know if they even go Anthony Richardson. They could go receiver maybe, but I don't think. I think it's not. There's not really necessarily a good enough receiver to go in the top 8. I mean, arguably Quentin Johnson, but I don't think he's a top 8 player. This is where I think they go an edge rusher. Miles Murphy, I think, goes off here. Isn't slip out of the top 10. He goes 8th. He's a very good edge rusher for Clemson. And I think that's what they need. They don't really have anybody. I know they signed our friend, Lorenzo Carter. But Lorenzo Carter is not a dominant pass rusher. I don't think he's on the team anymore, so come back home. And they don't really have anybody else. Grady Jarrett needs some help. Take some pressure off him. Get somebody off the edge like Miles Murphy that has some speed. As we get to the Panthers, I love the Frank Reich hire. I think it's good because he turned around the Colts. I don't know why he got fired. They were 2-2 or 2. I don't know. They're 3-1. He gets fired. So I don't think they were just. I just didn't think they wanted him anymore. They got Steichman from Philadelphia and the Colts. I think this is a pretty good quarterback. I think Reich's never had his own quarterback. I think he definitely is going to want one this year because he's never had a quarterback that was drafted besides, what's his name? The 6th round pick out of Texas for the Colts that we destroyed. I think Anthony Richardson is perfect for this team. You got DJ Moore, which could be traded to the Giants. Oh, could be traded anywhere, but I hope it's the Giants. Could be traded. I think they might keep DJ Moore, obviously, because if you're trying to get a quarterback, you don't really trade the young people. You don't trade the pieces away like Dave Gettleman, idiot. We got Dexter Lawrence out of that, whatever. So I think they go Anthony Richardson. Let me just check if this is recording. All right. I did that before it wasn't recording. So you go Anthony Richardson. He's a very athletic player. Mechanics a little off. Those could be fixed. A lot of people look at him maybe next Lamar Jackson, next Josh Allen once again. A lot of people, Josh Allen's really changed the way scouts will look at players. I think that's what they do. They think you get your quarterback. You got some playmakers on offense. Well, really just one. I don't really know who else is a receiver for them, but their O-line is pretty good. You got 2 good tackles, a good guard. I think they have Corbett, Moten, and Ekwonu. He's pretty good, and their center is Paradis, I think. As we get to the Eagles, I think they need a corner. I don't think James Bradbury is going to stay. I think a corner for them would be a really good idea to go. I think Devon Witherspoon, one of my favorite players. Good hitter for a corner. He's lengthy. I think it's like 6'2". Very good player. As we get to the Titans, it's Taylor Lewan came out and said he's probably getting cut. So they're going to need a tackle. I think they go. A lot of people, I mean, a lot of teams might get turned off by Skoronski's arm size. What's his name? Sean Slater from the Chargers doesn't have the longest arms, but if Skoronski is a bad tackle because of his arm length, you could put him at guard. But they're really looking for a tackle here. I think they're going Paris Johnson. That's where I think they will go. I think that's a good pick for them. Texans, Brandon Cooks is probably traded. He's probably getting traded because he demanded a trade and he's not like it there. So I think they're going to need a receiver for their new quarterback, kind of similar to what the Bengals did when they drafted T. Higgins. I think they're going to go Quentin Johnson. Somebody thinks it's a little early. I think he's probably the best receiver in the draft with his athleticism and size. As we get to the Jets had a pretty disappointing year after starting off 6-3 or 7-3, whatever the record was. And mostly due to the quarterback play. There's Derek Carr's having a dinner with him today or something. They might sign a veteran. They're not going to quarterback. There's no quarterback left anyways. But I think they need a tackle because the O-line was pretty atrocious. I mean, a lot of times I think their O-line was just injured this year, and they need people to be versatile around the O line. Like Elijah Vera Tucker could play guard, tackle, center, wherever you want to play him. I think you get another guy like that. Skronsky, even though his arm size, I think he's perfect for there. I think he could play. He's a really athletic player. He could play left tackle. I think this is the move for the Jets. Before this season, like last year, he was projected to be a top 5 player. You get a guy like this, your O line is going to be pretty good on the edges because they have Becton, which I think Becton's a great player. Just injuries. If you get a guy like Skronsky, you're going to have your bookend tackles. He might not be a dominant one, like that's going to push you forward, but he can hold his ground. I think he's perfect for the Jets. He can play guard if you want him to. As we get to the Patriots, they need a couple of things. They need maybe a safety, a corner, or tight end or something. Oh, no, they don't need a tight end, actually. But they might need a pass rusher. That's where I think Lucas Van Ness is kind of like a Belichick guy, someone that you could develop into a better pass rusher if you give him some time. Kind of like Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary wasn't, right away one of the best pass rushers on the team. He kind of developed over like 2 or 3 years. I think the same thing can happen with Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. As we get to the Packers, once again, weapons bad, but you don't know where Aaron Rodgers is going to be next year. He's undecided. Apparently, they have had enough of him in Green Bay, the organization. Someone from the inside has gone out. Well, I don't know where this information came from. Someone probably knew somebody inside the organization that said they're kind of disgusted with the way Aaron Rodgers is handling his way in Green Bay. So, they could have a new quarterback. Jordan Love. So we might have to get whoever the quarterback is some weapons. I think you go Michael Mayer here. Michael Mayer is a very like athletic tight end, probably the best in the draft. I think you get a guy like him. Aaron Rodgers has shown having a tight end that he gets him the ball. Like what's his name? I forgot the tight end's name, but he had a breakout year 2 years ago before he tore his ACL this year. Michael Mayer would be a really good pick for them. As we get to Washington, I think you might need a tackle here because Charles Leno and Cornelius Lucas on the right side and whatever the other guy's name is that's like injured, they drafted in the second round. I think you go Roderick Jones here. You just got the enemy. You're going to need an offensive line to run some of his plays. I think he's perfect for them. I hope he's not. But, as we get to the Steelers, there's a lot they could do here. Corner, Joey Porter, possibly. They could they could go interior D-line or receiver even. I think they honestly go here Joey Porter. They need a corner. I can't even tell you who they have out there. I think he's a great pick for them. And I think you're really because their division they play the Ravens, Browns, and the Bengals. So you're gonna need some help back in the back end defense. As we get to the Lions, they've already established their defensive back. They don't need to draft 2. I think they could go back to the offensive side. They traded their tight end. I think you could go a guy like Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington could really help an offense that's used in the passing game. Almost like Mercedes Lewis with the length and blocking, but he's a little more athletic and he's a better receiver. I think you could really implement him into the passing offense, and he's perfect for the run game. Really fits that O-line. The O-line's already good as it is. You get a guy like Darnell Washington that's 6'7", 270. He can run like he's 220. I think it's a really good pick for the Lions, and I think that's the way they should go. As you get to the Buccaneers, they lost Tom Brady, lost a lot of things. They do need to run back, possibly. I don't know if Leonard Fournette's coming back. I think they got to go interior D-line. Besides Vita Vea, they don't really have anybody in Vita Vea. It's kind of fell off this year a little bit. I think you go Brian Brees. Brian Brees was projected all year top 10. He's kind of like fell out of that now. I think that would be a good pick for them. As you get to the Seahawks, secondary is not very good. They could go Brian Branch. They don't really have a good strong safety. But they do need an interior D-line. A guy that's popped up in the draft boards that's kind of rised. Cansey, I can't really pronounce his last name. Halajay Cansey. He's actually really good for Pittsburgh. They can really fill the inside. I think they have their inside D-line is kind of small. There's one guy that's 5'11". I think you go Cansey here. You're really going to try to get your D-line better. I think I have them picking Tyree Wilson. So you're going 2 defensive players. Your offense is already really good. You got Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross your tackles. Your interior line, I don't think you really need to draft one. You probably just go sign them. As we get to the Chargers need a linebacker, and I do love Drew Saunders. Drew Saunders is kind of almost like Parsons and Devin Lloyd. I think I'll lean towards more Devin Lloyd. He could play the pass rush, and he's a really good inside linebacker. I don't know why he's ranked 95, but I think Drew Saunders in the first round for the Chargers to really help the defense because it wasn't very good last year as they choked the 27-point lead against the Jaguars. I think he'll really help the team. As we get to the Ravens, they've really traded their best receiver. They don't have any receivers. I think you could Jordan Addison. He fits their team. I mean, JSN probably fits too, but I think Jordan Addison's the best receiver left. That gets you to the Vikings. The Vikings, Lewis sign was not very good. Towards ACL like week 5. I think they go Brian Branch. You know, Harrison Smith's getting old, so even if Lewis Klein comes back, you still got your young safety. So like you could have sign like sit, or you could play some like nickel packages. I think Brian Branch at Alabama is very good. Most of the Alabama safeties are always good. So as we know, as you get to the Jaguars, your interior line needs some work. I think you go a guy that's familiar from the area. Osiris Torrance, best guard in the draft, possibly also lineman in the draft. I think you get him here would be a really good player for them. Really help out with Trevor Lawrence's development, get that off the line even better. Don't want that guy taking hits. As you get to the Giants, and this is probably where you guys been waiting for, maybe not, or you probably clicked off the video, maybe possibly. Hope you didn't. If you stayed through this whole video so far, I love you. As we get the JSN, Zay Flowers as the 2 best receivers left. This is probably the only option for the Giants, or you could go a guy like Trenton Simpson. A lot of people love this guy. Very athletic. We haven't spent a first-round pick in a linebacker in a very long time, and Joe Shane showed that already. We haven't spent on a pass rusher in a very long time since JPP, and we did that this last year. Could go Trent Simpson, or we could go the bigger need, receiver. I'm really leading JSN, but Trent Simpson I love, so it's really hard to pass up on a guy like this. But you also got to remember, Dallas is right after. They need a linebacker. Lane Vander Esch, I don't know if he's come back. So do you want to risk that, or do you want to maybe try to get a different receiver? JSN, the only problem he's had was the outside, and I feel like that can be fixed. But also, you don't really have to necessarily fix those things because a guy like Cooper Kupp is a team's best receiver. It doesn't really matter where you line up; it just matters how good you are where you line up. If you're like inside, like Cooper Kupp, he's just dominant. He can play the outside too, but he's not as good. He's just kind of an average receiver outside, but he's an elite weapon inside. So if JSN could become that, almost kind of like Justin Jefferson Justin Jefferson wasn't necessarily the best receiver on the outside team before he was drafted first. Now he's probably the best player on that. Well, Joe Burrow is, but he's probably second best now. Jamar Chase isn't as good as Justin Jefferson. Could go JSN. I love him. I love him as a player. The only concern I have is his injuries. But I'm going to make a little bit of a surprising pick here. Trenton Simpson. I did another mock draft a couple days ago, or I just did it for fun. I had the Giants going JSN. We're not going to go there. We're going to rob the Dallas Cowboys out of getting him, and I'm going to have them go maybe O-line or interior D-line. I think they need to, after, because they only had they had Jonathan Hankins and somebody else that was not very good. I think they go Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. Had a pretty good year this year. Very good in the run. They need a guy to do that. That's their weakness. They probably would want Trent Simpson if he was there. That's probably what I would have picked. So I robbed them of that. The Bills, most people or everybody might have them going Bijan Robinson. I think that's the right pick. Just because Josh Allen's never had any other help in the run game. Feel like they can really take a pressure off him for the pass rush. They're just rushing at Josh Allen. You got to focus only on him in the backfield. Yeah, there's Devin Singletary, but he's not good. He's okay. You got to get a guy like Bijan Robinson, the best running back in the draft. Very similar to a guy like Saquon Barkley. Use him in many different ways. As we get to the Bengals need a linebacker because they're going to lose what's his name, Jermaine Pratt. Probably going to leave. I saw him say in a video. This is his last year after he was yelling at the guy, Joseph Asai, that hit Patrick Mahomes late and cost him the game. I think they can go linebacker, or they couldn't necessarily go receiver, depending if they ever traded T. Higgins. But I could see him going Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell is a very good player for Iowa, but you could see that as a bit of a reach. Could go tackle. I'm a little stumped on this one. Oh man, I don't. This is a hard one because I had them going Trent Simpson in another mock draft, but I think it fit better here. They have Levon Collins, whatever his name is from Dallas. Forget his name, but he's injured ACL tear. He wasn't very good. Also, I think Jonah Williams towards ACL. I think we're gonna go away from this tackle spot, and we're gonna go Jack Campbell. They need an inside guy. I think he might be a little bit of a reach. There's always a reach in the first round, but he could end up being a very good player. He's not gonna have a good second round pick, so you might as well just pick him here. As we get to the Saints, they lost. What's his name? They're kind of like Michael Thomas because his cap hit $60 million. So I could see them going Jack Smith-Njigba, but I feel like Jason's gonna fall to the second round. I do think they could go corner. They could go interior D line. I'm a little stumped on this one too. So it's getting a little harder. I think I'm gonna have them go corner. Kelly Ringo was like the best corner all year, like projected to be the best corner all year until like the last like 6 weeks of the college season. I feel like we're gonna go Kelly Ringo. Kelly Ringo is a very good corner. He can play the boundary very well. They gotta be a good pick. You have Marshall Lattimore, Kelly Ringo, and I forgot who else they have that could play inside. So you got those 3 guys. I think was it Paulson at Debo? Oh, it's not Eric Stokes. It might be Paulson at Debo, I think it is. As we get to the Eagles, this one might shock a little bit. Some people, or most, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're going to lose Miles Sanders. I don't think they're going to bring him back. I think Jahmyr Gibbs really fit their team. It's kind of like what they do already with Kenneth Gainwell, but you could use him almost like Alvin Kamara. He's very good in the receiving game. He's also very good in the run game, especially that O-line. He'll be fine there. As we get to the Chiefs, I think they'll have him going receiver here. You might be surprised. It's not Jason. It's not Zay Flowers. Jalen Hyatt. As that completes the matchup, I think Jalen Hyatt can give him that Tyreek Hill look. That's the only reason why I'm going it. I feel like screw off PFF. I feel like it gives them another look of a Tyreek Hill that could use his speed to their advantage. You need a guy like that always. Probably gonna lose Mecole Hardman. You're looking at probably Juju, not Mecole Hardman, Juju, Jalen Hyatt, and Tony or Sky Moore. So 4 solid receivers. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I love you. Once again, most people kind of click off through like the first 5 minutes. I don't really trying to make it too long, but this video is a little longer than I expected. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.